Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine, here with the R Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. So I am back with several different, very important prophetic messages that some of you guys should be aware of before going into the new year of the energies that we're experiencing. Okay. So take the messages that resonate and leave the ones that do not. But also keep in mind that these energies could be happening from right now all the way up until March or even going into June as well too. Okay. So anyway, the first message that I received, this is about like, okay, so imagine like if some of you guys are dealing with the situation with DMV. It's almost like DMV is kind of coming up and concocting, is just what I heard. Okay. This is something to be mindful of, because the way I saw it was as if DMV is like coming up with all these asinine, is just what I'm hearing. Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Coming up with all these different tactics and things that they're doing. Okay. And not only did I see DMV doing this, but I also saw the electric company doing this last year as well too. So it's going to be important. It's going to be important and to be mindful of just kind of like how you moving and not allowing them to kind of draw you in, waste your time, energy, and attention on just creating. Because the way I saw this was, it's almost like somebody was saying, hey, if you want to sign up for DMV, you got to do this, and that. Okay. And when I say like it was like a whole bunch of stack of papers, like a whole bunch of stack of papers that seemed like it had nothing at all to do with DMV. Okay. But it's almost like these other people and other entities are attached to them. So because people have to get their driver's license in a sense, well, if they choose to, everything is a choice. If they want a license, it's almost like somebody else is attaching themselves to DMV, and DMV is allowing all these entities that attach to them also be attached to you. Okay. So I just want to give you guys that message, because they came through as if it's like a scavenger hunt that some of you guys may find yourself going on. Some of you guys may find yourself going on this journey just to turn around and find out that, you know what? I'm not supposed to be doing this. Okay. So some of you guys are going to get the wake up call after kind of jumping over hoops, hurdles, and doing all this other stuff, that you're going to realize, like, why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. Okay. Because the way I saw it was as if, like, say for instance, if you knew somebody who was like a roommate, or maybe like somebody who was supposed to be like a good friend of yours, thank you, Spirit. I just heard as well too, you have to remember that somebody else's path is not necessarily your path. So just because somebody else is experiencing and doing something does not necessarily mean that you're supposed to be doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. We all are in this physical reality, but we all are experiencing different scenarios. Okay. And whether you realize it or not, our realities are all different. Okay. I mean, our scenarios are all different. Anyway, so I say all that to say that, thank you, Spirit. I just heard it. Tell them, explain, and I say that to say because some of us could be experiencing different timelines. Okay, some of us could be experiencing a higher timeline, some of us could be experiencing a lower timeline, and some can be experiencing a timeline just kind of like in between. So that's the reason why I say that we all are in this physical reality, but we all experiencing different scenarios and situations differently. Okay. So anyway, so keep in mind that, again, some of this situation's going to feel like for some people like it's a scavenger hunt. But remember, it's important that you focus on you and not to be looking at the man to the left of you or the man to the right of you, but focusing on what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Because sometimes, again, you could be looking at somebody else and somebody else could be misleading you, whether they're doing it intentionally or not. Okay, it could just be the fact that maybe you're looking at them a little too hard and you're trying to do the things that they're doing, and maybe that was not meant to be your path. So this next important message that I received was, it's about some of you. Okay, some of you guys may feel like there's situations that could be in your immediate environment that seem like it's kind of chaotic, a little confusion. So it's almost like, so imagine whether it's going into a grocery store or whether it's a situation to open up your front door and you realize like, whoa, what is all this? And you haven't necessarily seen all that before. It's almost like people are being attracted to you in a sense, and whether they're coming to you or not, it doesn't matter. They're just all within your immediate environment. Okay, so it's almost like opening up a front door is like, whoa, what is all this? And then shutting the door is like, okay, I'll wait till all this die down. Okay, so some of you guys may find yourself experiencing that. This next message came through. This is about so some of you guys are coming into union. Okay, and I say all that to say the Most High is trying to get you guys to be in alignment with it, your counterpart to be in alignment with you. But basically what's happening here is, I did that last video and it was like things are going to move quickly once you speak up, okay? Well, I think it's once you speak up or once you do what God asks you to do, one of the two. Anyway, the last video, the one before this one, basically the Most High is revealing to you what you need to speak up about, okay? So for this video, this is more so about, let's just say, coming into union with your divine counterpart. But most of all, pay attention to your dreams, because the Most High is giving you clues, synchronicities of things from the past that needs to be kind of healed currently, right now, during this point in time, okay? Because it's almost like the Most High is not going to allow somebody to go into union being unequally yoked. We already did those energies before, especially if your divine counterpart is somebody that you are reconciling with. And it could be a situation for somebody else that you don't even know this counterpart. But even if you dealt with a situation before where situationships were unhealthy or unequally yoked, now they're going to be yoked, okay? Meaning that they're going to be on one accord. So this was, in this dream, it was almost like the divine counterpart kind of reaching out, hey, you need anything or whatever? Just, just wanted to see if you need anything. It's almost like I just heard the word being tentative, and I just saw 555 as I said that. Remember, as I said before, 5 represents change, okay? Anyway, so it was more about being attentive and seeking and seeing and compromise and being responsible is just what I heard, okay? About tending to making sure you kind of like, if you're in relationships, those of you who are in relationships, just kind of reaching out what people do. And hey, you need anything? The same way you would want somebody to support you in a sense. Okay. Anyway, so this next message came through this was about somebody doing something. I'm not quite sure exactly or what it is, but somebody felt the need to do something that was kind of challenging, that they felt like if they did this, it was going to help them to be on a different timeline in the quantum leap to another timeline. Well, let me explain something to you. It's important to know, because a lot of people have tripped up on this journey with thinking that they are hearing God, and they have been hearing other things outside of God, because it depends on where we are frequency wise and what energies we're tuning in and tapping into. We can be hearing low vibrational energy that's giving us message. So therefore, it could be situations that, that aren't healthy for us, okay, which will cause a person to do something. In return, there will be consequences behind that. But nevertheless, I can't exactly say what this was, but I got the feeling like somebody was doing something thinking that it was going to help them to quantum leap to a higher timeline. And it's almost they was like, okay, send me to a different timeline. Send me to a different timeline. I'm tired of whatever it is that they could be experiencing in their life. So they wanting something new, they wanting something different. But that does not necessarily mean, because you're being sent to a different timeline, that it's going to be a higher timeline, because there's levels to, I just heard this shit. Okay, so there are levels to this in a sense, meaning like there's no skip, hopping, jumping. You have to go through every single level, and when we mess up and F up and fuck up, it's almost like going right back down to the very start and having to start all over again. Okay, and that's what a lot of people don't know about this journey in a sense. Journey is about carrying your own cross and assuming your own carrying your own responsibilities, being responsible, and basically not doing things like trying to project off onto other people what it is that you don't want to fix or whatever it is that you do not want to heal. This is about facing yourself and not just basically saying, here, you carry that for me. Here, I'm gonna let you do all the work. No, that's not how that works. So the next message that I received was, some of you guys may be finding yourself kind of like cussing someone out in a situation of, I'm not sure if it's like a customer service or something of that nature, maybe something pertaining to, I don't know if it was like social services or something like that. I kind of got that. That's kind of what I got when I woke up to write that dream down, something pertaining to social services. I don't know. So, there's different branches within the social services or whatever, but I got the feeling like somebody was having to cuss somebody out in a sense. But when they did that, it's almost like the other person on the other end of the call got a wake up call. Okay. So you have to realize that the way God is kind of moving is not moving in the way that a lot of people think that he is moving in a sense. So anyway, so the next message I received was, it could be a situation of someone having to deal with the situation in regards to their vehicle, whether it be a car, truck, I'm not sure, but it's almost like somebody was getting on the phone trying to get some sort of assistance. I don't know, but just wanted to give you the heads up, okay? The next message that I received was, God has spoken to some of you guys, okay? And he has spoken to some of you guys because he has been speaking for a while, and some of you guys have been kind of ignoring the wake-up call in a sense. So now it's like some of you guys have the message of what it is exactly that you need to do, because all I heard was, why do I have to do this? And do I have to do it exactly like this? So God has given some of you guys instructions on what it is that you need to do. And it's very important that you follow those instructions because it is important. And I just heard it's very pivotal for your life. Okay, that's all I heard. So whatever reason that's coming through in whatever shape or form, it's important. Okay. So the next message that I received was, and this is also tied back into this dream in regards to God giving some of you instructions on what it is you need to do. So imagine kind of like going on this again, it's not like this point is not like a scavenger hunt, but this thank you, Spirit. It's like going on a mission. Okay, like a Mission Impossible situationship or whatever the case may be. It's like dun 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 dun. Okay, that's kind of how I felt. It was like three bad bitches, right? So it was like the three people that was there. It's almost like God was giving instructions of, imagine like, okay, so imagine like going on a mission and you need to go to the secret locker, and God has said your instructions will be in there. It's like you go on this mission, you go into this area to pick it up and you get it. And once you get it, it's almost like you have the mission of what it is that God is asking you to do. So once you get your information that you need to get, it's almost like, okay, now you're confident in what it is that you need to do going forward. Okay. So like I said, it was like, it's about being confident, and it's about being cool in a sense, like almost like nothing can disturb your energy. You know where it is that you're going. Okay. So that's for some of you guys. And then this next message came through was about oh, thank you, Spirit. This other message that came through, okay, so this one's important as well, too. If you have been somebody who has pretty much had a lot of women around you, because the way I saw this in a dream was, it was like someone, it was like a male. He had a lot of females around him, and particularly on the job, some way, shape, or form tied back to someone's job, okay? So if you're someone who deals with a lot of females on the job or whatever the case may be, maybe you should start considering and not just think like, oh, I got all these females around me, because no, sometimes our workplace is also a reflection of things that's happening within our life as well too. Okay, so some people make that mistake of, oh my God, I got all these women around me, oh, they always look up to me, or oh, they always calling my name, or oh, they need me, or they always coming around my desk, or whatever the case may be. No, don't look at that from a situation and putting yourself up on a pedestal, because yes, some people are charismatic, and there's some people who are magnetic, should I say, who attract people to them. But you also have to remember too, why are these people being attracted to you? Are they being attracted to you due to superficial reasons? Are they being attracted to you because what's on the inside of you is being reflected to you on the outside of you? And I say all that to say that when you are surrounded by so many different females, whether it's females or whether it's males, it's something on the inside of you that is attracting those people to you, that's trying to say, hey, newsflash, I'm trying to bring something to your awareness. I'm trying to bring something to your awareness. It's not necessarily healthy. So if you have coworkers and there are a lot of females, it's not the fact that it's unhealthy, but it's the fact of when you feel around, when you feel the need to be around all these males, or whether they're males or whether they're females in a sense, and you kind of put yourself up on a pedestal of thinking, like I said, that, oh, you know, they love me, or, you know, they like me in some sort of way, like I'm the shit in a sense, or like, you know, like all eyes are on me. Let me give you the little reality check, okay? All this is tied back to your childhood, okay? And I say all that to say that when you have again, that's just how it's designed. So again, if you're on a job and you have a whole bunch of females around you and they're constantly looking up to you or putting you on a pedestal, or say, hey, oh, I bought you a pie, I baked your pie, trying to get your time, attention, and your energy in a sense, this is tied back to your childhood. So I say all that to say that you enjoy the attention from the other women that are around you. And the reason why you enjoy it is because you never got that attention from your mom. Okay. So as I said, sometimes when there are things that are happening to us in our adult life, we need to stop and examine of why this is happening. So it's not just because a person may seem like they're charismatic or whatever, or they seem like they're magnetic. Again, what's confirmation? So what's on the inside of you will reflect your immediate environment. Okay. So whether you are man or woman, this is pertaining to each and every one of you, okay? So if it's the situation of a woman, it's almost like she enjoys the attention of the males that are around that give her. Why? Because it may have had a lot to do with the lack of her dad giving her attention, when she was younger or whatever the case may be, okay? So again, let's stop tooting our own horns and thinking that this is the spiritual side of it. You see the physical side of it where it seems like, oh, everybody likes me. Oh, everybody puts me up on a pedestal. No, there's always a spiritual side to what's happening within our physical environment. So keep that in mind as well too. Okay. Hence to say this next message that came through was, so imagine like a divine counterpart. So right now, definitely pay attention to your dreams, because right now God is revealing a lot of stuff tied back to your past in regards to relationships and what needs to be healed going forward, because we are coming up on graduation season for some twins to come into union. And I say all that to say, and God's trying to get so many people to clear out that last little bit of clutter before moving forward. And it's important to do it and be mindful to do it, not to be trying to wait until going into the new year to do it, but doing it before the new year gets here. Because once you already state in your mind of what you're going to do going forward, you don't have to worry about going into the new year scraping and scrambling of trying to keep it right. Hashtag when people have New Year's resolutions, they're like, okay, on the new year, I'm going to start doing this, and that. And then when the new year gets here, it's like they're struggling to keep that thing that they said that they were going to do, when they really should be practicing it before they go into the new year. Okay. So anyway, so in this next message, as I said, it was like a twin. Okay, this is where God was kind of revealing some information. So some of you guys should have already received that information, and it's different for everybody, but this is just the symbolism behind kind of what some people are working on. So imagine driving into a parking garage going to work, okay? And there's no windows around, but it's really dark. So that was just one letting me know that was the symbolism of deep down inside. Okay, God is saying, okay, I need you to dive deep down into that relationship and let me let you see what's really there that you're not seeing on the surface level. So imagine driving down into a parking garage to your workplace, and your family is in the car with you. Okay, you taking your family up to the job workplace. So you get out of the garage, and then the people in the garage tell you, hey, where to park at, or whatever the case may be. Then you take the elevator and you go up to your floor, or whatever the case may be. Okay, but instead of going into like an office space, it was more like going into a bedroom space where there were like 2 beds in the room, but everybody was kind of sitting on the floor. Okay. And basically the beds were representation of just comfort, and not only comfort, but you have 2 individual beds, which was the symbolism of basically, for those people who are reconciling, one person sleeping over here in this bed, even though they wasn't physically sleeping in the bed, and that there was another bed over here that's basically dividing them. And what it is one bed represents career, the other bed represents family, and how there's a divide between the two, okay? Where there should be a compromise in between the two. So I say all that to say one bed represents the career, the other one represents family, and there was no balance between the two, because what was happening was everybody was sitting on the floor. So it was like a divine counterpart was also sitting near his divine counterpart. He just kept looking at her like trying to get closer to her. But one thing you have to realize is, and this is where some divine masculines and even some divine feminines can be even tripped up at on this journey, in a sense, where people come along, sometimes they not knowing that they're doing this, and sometimes they purposely know that they're doing this, okay? Like being obstacles in a way. But that's where you're going to have to learn how to push forward and fight through that energy, in a sense, of any roadblocks that try to come and deter you off your path. Because again, as sitting on the floor, it's almost like the male was trying to get closer to his divine feminine counterpart, and then there was another lady from work. She also, as he got closer to his divine counterpart, she tried to get closer to him. So the more he kept moving, the more she kept trying to move and get closer to him as he was getting closer to her. So basically, at some point in time, the divine feminine was like, you know what, like, you see, he's not paying you any attention. And I just saw 911 as I said that. That's letting you know that needs to be worked on, okay? So, and it's almost like as he tries to get closer to her, it has been a lot of this dance back and forth is what I'm hearing Spirit say. Thank you, Spirit. It's been a lot of this dance going back and forth where there have been friends, co-workers, and all these friends with benefits and all the other things that have kept a lot of you masculines off your path, or whether it be some divine feminines as well too. The energy works both ways. But again, it's almost like the divine feminine had spoke up and said something to the woman, and she was like, ah, la, 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 la. You know, you see, he not like, why you being thirsty, in a sense, like he's not chasing after you, he's not even paying you no mind in that sense. Okay, but I say all that to say that we're not moving like that anymore. Okay, because it's not your job to speak up and say what it is that the divine masculine should be saying. In a sense, it's not your job to be speaking, because honestly, if he was truly about you, in a sense, he would be the one speaking up, not just allowing it to happen. So God was just God may have been revealing that information to some of you guys, and even if it's not exactly in this situation, it could be similar to this situation. Okay, but basically, instead of you speaking up and always voicing your opinion and saying what you need to say always for checking somebody, you don't need to do that anymore. Okay, because now God is putting the shoe on the other foot. That's the masculine's job to do. That's no longer your job to do. Whereas before, you know, a lot of feminines was saying, hey, well, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. But now it's time for the masculines to stand up, put those pants on, and put those boots on, in a sense, and basically go to battle, in a sense. And I don't mean go to battle, but basically stand up and say what you need to say, and stop just leading people. It's not even so much of leading people on, but people will only do what you allow them to do, because you have not said anything to them in order to correct the situation. So sometimes if you allow a situation to keep going on and on, like let's just say hypothetically, like I said, when he was trying to get closer to the feminine and she got closer to him, it should have been a situation of, hey, like, what's going on? Do you have feelings for me? I'm not interested. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. But I'm going to draw the line here. So kind of speaking up in that way. But sometimes males don't do that, and they just kind of leave things lingering, and that leave other people wondering and lingering of, oh, there could possibly be a chance. Okay, or maybe I can also too, you know, pursue him as well too. But anyway, so that's the situationship that some of you guys are that God is shedding light on, that has been buried deep down, that he's asking you to address going forward. And then in that same dream, it skipped scenes, and in that scene, it was like that person was going to a second job that they had, and it's almost like, rather than him taking his family to that job, he basically said, no, you stay here this time. No, you stay here this time, because I'm going to my other job. And it's almost like he didn't want you to come to the job, because he didn't want you to stir up the pot with the women that was there at the job. So again, it is not your job to say anything else to these other women. It is his job to correct it and create boundaries, in a sense, if he so desired that relationship with you. Okay, it's no longer your job. So I'm giving you the baton. You pass the baton on to the next woman and let her know that it is not your job, that is their job to fix that situationship. Okay, no more carrying that weight for them, no more speaking for them. They have to speak up for themselves. Okay, so this next message came through, and this one was about give me a second. Oh, okay. So this is another situationship that needs to be dealt with as well too, because God has really been diving deep. Like, hey, this is here in that subconscious. I need you to clean this out your mindset. I really need you to clean this. You didn't even know that this was here, but I need you to clean it out. So let me set the scene real quick. Basically, imagine like you and your spouse in a past life was going to get something to eat, and the kids was at the house, like let's just say with the grandma, whatever the case may be, the auntie or whatever the case may be, and the husband and wife go get some food, right? So they go get some food, pick up some food, but then imagine like you having a conversation on the way to get some food, and you get the food, and let's just say you have a conversation on the way to get the food. Let's just say the woman get out of the car, maybe go inside and get the food or whatever the case may be, pick it up, come back. But in a sense of, she was picking up psychically that, you know, her husband wanted her to do something. He wanted her to do something, and it was something that she did not necessarily want to do. So on this journey, a lot of the divine feminines has really been compromising themselves for the sake of doing what it is that the masculine wants them to do. This is the reason why God is healing all of this and letting you know, no, you do what you feel like you want to do and not what somebody else wants you to do. Okay. But a lot of people are also going to receive their karma as well too, because whatever it is that you put out, you will get back in return, you know. So if you know that you haven't done anything wrong to anybody, then you're going to receive that good karma. And those people who have received the negative karma, they will have their karma, be due to them because of the seeds that they have sown, okay? And even if you put your heart out there and your love out there and you express yourself, even when somebody may have stepped on it, wiped their feet on it, treated you wrong, treated you in so many different ways that wasn't necessarily right, well, they have that karma to serve as well too. So basically in a dream, this person basically took and drove off. And as they took and drove off, they basically took and drove off because the divine feminine did not respond or give them the respond and trigger them in a way like, hey, well, you walked in a sense. So now they're walking with the bag of food in their hand. They was like, oh, okay, well, if you want to act like an ass, then I'm going to just walk, or whatever the case may be. So you shouldn't have to do that. And this is the reason why God is collapsing so many of these different relationships in a sense, because they were based off conditions. You do this for me, and then I'll do this for you. Okay. But this is about compromising, okay? Anyway, so basically once making it back to the house, it's almost like the person still had the food in their hand, and it's almost like having some food in their hand and the person sitting at the table like, yeah, now serve me, in a sense, okay? So yeah, I just heard Spirit say there has been so many self-entitlement and people putting themselves up on a pedestal that now it's time for them to come down off of those pedestals, okay? So I say all that to say it's almost like, just being some people were really nasty, like in past lives. And that's the stuff that needs to be healed within the subconscious. And that's what God is asking to be healed and to set the record straight, for the things that you have done in the past, in a sense. Okay. So if it's coming up for you now, it's just basically God saying, hey, you responded this way in the past. Now I need you to do the opposite. Okay. So that way that you can reap your good karma. So anyway, because the divine feminine, she was like a lot of people's support group, whether it's your, people within their family dynamic, people within their close vicinity or whatever. She was basically a support system for everybody. Because I saw like caulk, caulk for bathroom caulk or sink caulk, tub caulk, whatever you want to call it, that you need to caulk up. It was almost like seeing that there. And she was using things like caulk showed up as a symbolism of just kind of putting things together, mending things together in a sense. Okay. And she's done a lot of that. Now it's time for those people to give her that support that she needs, okay, going forward. So this is what this is about, a switching of energies. And then this last message that came through, this was about, okay, so some of you guys really should be protecting your energy. So I know a lot of times, especially when it's hot outside, sometimes you want the windows down, and sometimes you don't necessarily want the AC blowing in your face, or sometimes you want the windows down, but you want the music all loud. Some of you guys are going to be looking at things from a totally different perspective, especially the divine feminine is going to be kind of almost like, it's almost like sheltering yourself from other people's energy in a sense. So imagine having windows down at one point and all of a sudden you roll your windows up because you realize that you're trying to protect your energy from other people, okay? So anyway, let me give you this message real quick. So I also dreamed that there was cherry pie in a dream, and usually cherry pie is a symbolism of a sign of status, wealth, luxury, and prestige, okay? You are the only one who can comfort the problems and rise above it, okay? So some of you guys, like if there's a situationship of you needing to conquer something, nobody can fix that or heal that situation for you. This is where God is asking you to put your boots on, put your big girl panties on, put your big boys briefs on, or whatever you wear. And basically man or woman up, okay? If you so choose to, okay? Especially if you desire things to change around you, okay? If not, then things will continue to be the same. So another one was too, it could be also a situation of deep need for community and connection, and it could suggest a desire to share one's own abundance with other people. So this is about, again, that's the cherry pie, and I can't speak for everybody in what situation that you're possibly dealing with, but basically that was a representation of the cherry pie that I actually saw in the dreams, okay? So I do want to give you this message as well too, because this verse that came through the Song of Solomon, it's the bride's dream, and it's Solomon 3, and it says, on my bed by night I sought him who my soul loves. I sought him but found him not. I will rise now and go about the cities, in the streets, in the squares. I will seek him whom my soul loves. So some of you guys have been on this mission. As I said, it's been like a scavenger hunt, going out to figure out, ooh, are you my twin flame? Or, ooh, are you my love? I think I love you. No, I don't. Move on to the next. So some of you guys have had a lot of those ups and downs when it comes down to relationship. But what you don't know, that God was really already preparing somebody for you after he just needed you to get that out of your system, in a sense. Okay, so it says, I will seek him whom my soul loves. I sought him but found him not. And a lot of you did not find, even after going through so many, and even the people who are on your jobs that I was talking about, whether it be women or whether it be men, in a sense. The watchman found me as they went about in the city. Have you seen him whom my soul loves? Okay, so it's almost like your soul. For the twin flames, remember, you have one soul and you basically share that soul. Two people sharing one soul, okay? So that's just basically the scripture that came to me today, okay? So again, it's Solomon's 3:3 in a sense. So if you guys want to go and read that. Oh, let me finish reading this though. But it says, sacredly, I have passed them when I found him whom my soul loves. I held him and would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house. So if you think about it, what's coming to mind, thank you, Spirit. If you think about it, what's coming to mind is if somebody is dating, right? If they're dating, they're not going to just bring anybody to their mother's house. They know that their mother requires, like, oh my God, like my mom is like this, like that, and she ain't settled for nothing less. So they know who to take home to mom and who not to take home to mom. So this is just basically saying, we found whom my soul loves and held him, and I would not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house. Okay, and into the chambers of her whom conceived me. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But if you guys want to go and read that for yourself, feel free to do so. But with that being said, I wish you all much love and much light until the next message. Bye.